Celtic 5, Slovan Bratislava 1. A brilliant start for the Champions League campaign under Brendan Rodgers. An incredible start to what's going to be an exciting 8 games, James. What did you make of last night's game?
Where do you start, Paddy? I mean, the performance, the result, the crowd, the atmosphere, the occasion, everything. I just thought they were really on it last night. Really on it. Really professional, start to finish. Chased everything. I suppose epitomised by Arne Engels in the 93rd minute or something, chasing balls down at 5-1 up, so he's got the message. All right, the new boy. And I thought he was outstanding. He was my man of the match, but we'll come on to that, I'm sure. But yeah, brilliant. What a way to start the campaign.
Yeah, I think a few of the fans shared the same thoughts about Engels, myself included. I thought he was everywhere last night. I was talking to a few people in the pub after the game, so a couple of shout outs for Paul, Robert and for David. But one of the things that David was saying, that he's maybe just still a yard off finding out what the system is, but my God, he's still having such a strong impact in the game overall. So he's only going to get better. That's the thing with Arne Engels, and I think we're just really excited to see what he can do. A big welcome to everyone viewing live with us just now. Hope you're all still sitting with a big smile on your face. I'm covering for Tino today. He's taking a little trip over to Istanbul for the weekend, so he's asked me to look after the final whistle show today. And yeah, just an incredible start for us. I think, obviously, just looking at the lineup for last night, we went for the same lineup that we went for against Hearts, which I think surprised a few, including myself. I thought that we would have maybe have seen Bernardo come in, but that wasn't to be the case. He stuck with Rio Hatate. What was your views in the lineup, James?
Well, similar to you, I was thinking Bernardo for a slightly more conservative, but a European approach. I think Bernardo's a fantastic player, but I also think Rio Hatate's a fantastic player. Rio does give you that bit more creativity, so I think Bernardo would have just given you a wee bit more security. But Rodgers was just saying, "No, we're going for it. We've done our scouting, we've done our analysis, and this is a game we're going to go for it." Now it might be in games to come that Dortmund away probably is the toughest of the fixtures. Maybe he goes Bernardo there, but I'm looking at Rodgers and the way he's setting up now, and he's saying, I think our best defence is attack. So it might be that Rio gets the nod in these games and Bernardo's coming off the bench. So that was the only debating point, was Bernardo and Rio. The rest is kind of picking itself at the moment. We need to wait and see what Trusty and Bally can do as they get used to the system like Engels has, and start to really push Scales and Taylor. Trusty's got some job in his hands with the form that Scales is in. So great to see. Competition's the great motivator.
Yeah, it really is. I'm at that point now with Liam Scales where I've been saying he's not good enough, he's not at the level we require, we need to move on, we need to think about advancing in that position. And now I'm kind of saying to myself, is it me? Am I just not looking at this correctly? Because he's again had an incredible performance last night. He stood up for basically everything. I thought one of the boys says if him and Carter Vickers swapped boots last night, I think Carter Vickers had a few shaky moments. Liam Scales has just grown in confidence at this point, and I think it was mentioned in one of the shows this week that competition doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose your place, but what it does do is it keeps you on your toes, and I think that he wants to keep that jersey. And another man of the match performance given to him by UEFA. That's not a fan vote yesterday. That's a UEFA decision on that one. So he should be mega proud of himself and what he's put into this season so far. But as I say, I think that competition is healthy for places. But we'll look at the first goal then. So obviously, just some incredible play from us in certain parts. A couple of shaky moments, I thought, when Slovan managed to get in, and it actually, just looked a little bit lazy from us at the back again. But I do think that we didn't let it phase us. We didn't get ourselves under pressure. We remained calm throughout the full game. It was great pressing that led to the first corner, and it was a mistake. I say a mistake. I think he was just put under too much pressure from Vladimir Weiss. And then, first field attempt from Arne Engels with the first cross. But I'm sure it got him warmed up, and what a delivery for Scales' goal. What did you make of that, James?
Point. So it was a free kick. So Engels is just going to be everywhere. He was taking free kicks and shots for 30 yards and everything he was involved in. But the free kick cannons off and it's out for it was going out to the corner flag, and Vice actually had it under control, but he didn't reckon on Maeda, and he just harried him, made a mess of it out for the corner. First one comes in, defended and put back out. Second one, there's a brilliant photo I put in our group earlier this morning. Brilliant photo of someone just behind Engels and the whip he's getting on that ball. The ball's just away, it's just in shot. And then you see another image and it's Scales just throwing everything he's got to be there first. He plays like a Celtic fan in that regard. He's just the hunger and the way everyone's trying to grab him and say he's just like, get off me. Just hungrier than every other single person in the box.
Yeah.
It's comes off the keeper's kind of left shoulder, but it's the power he's got. The keeper's got no chance. It's behind him before he really gets a chance to react, and it's no more than he deserves. I'm delighted how Scales is playing. I'm not changing my view in terms of where we are in the bigger scheme of things, but that competition is driving him to be better and better, and getting that goal and just I think our pressure deserved that goal. But how many games you have that pressure and you don't get it, and then you get punished, kind of thing. So to get that, and I think that adds an extra tier onto the atmosphere that the crowd are delivering. So we're off and running then.
Yeah, we're off and running. And actually, for me, I think there was a good few opportunities. I think an incredible ball played over from Alistair Johnson for Maeda, who takes a great touch on his stride. But it's just, I think he's just put off balance at the finish. But I think a standout mention for Nicholas Kuhn last night. I thought he was excellent, and he plays an incredible through ball for Kyogo, who for me has to bury it. I think it's a poor effort from him, and he had a couple of moments like that last night. Kyogo, the one that he put over the bar as well. But it just showed you we were ticking. We were really happy with the possession. We were trying new things. Myself, Tino, and friend of the show, Paul, we were away watching the youth game yesterday, and we could see the signs of how Celtic were kind of set up in terms of matching it with the first team. And what I would say is kind of the same thing from what we've seen from Slovan Bratislava. Their game plan yesterday was to try and keep us out in the wings as much as possible, but the power from that midfield three is just too much for them, James. As you say, Arne Engels is everywhere. Rio Hatate and Callum McGregor, every time the ball went out to one of their players, there was 2 or 3 players on them at each time. And it's just hunting in packs seemed to be the thing last night. And that's so good to see what we can do off the ball, knowing that how confident and comfortable we can be on the ball as well. What did you make of the defensive side of things last night, James?
I watched this afternoon at lunchtime there, I watched BBC's highlight coverage of it just for a different perspective. It was a bit of a kind of strange production, but the analysis itself was decent in terms of that hunting in packs, and they were showing a decent graphic of every time Bratislava got the ball, was 4 guys around them. Yeah. And what you're doing is you're forcing them into mistakes. So guys were panicking and just kicking the ball kind of anywhere, or hopefully, trying to get it up the park, and it was falling to one of ours, and then you're on an attack almost immediately. That hunger, that desire was there throughout. The only kind of minor criticism I'd say in the first half was we seemed to play the occasion a wee bit. We weren't quite as aggressive and as positive as certainly as we were in the second half. But as we know, this team can be. So I don't know if they were just, it's Celtic in Europe. It's the first game in the Champions League. They're maybe thinking, don't lose it, but they're thinking has to be go win it. And once they kind of unshackled themselves on that, Rodgers spoke about it after the game that we were just taking 3 touches instead of 2, and that just gives the opposition a chance to get back into formation. Once you drop that from 3 to 2 touches, you're off and running, and you're flying at them. Now, we did that. We were flying at them plenty of times in the first half, but maybe other occasions, there were other opportunities that we didn't take. But must have been some team talk at half-time because they came out flying, man.
Yeah, I think the occasion probably kind of came to a few of them, that obviously just experiencing that for the first time as well. And you look at it, that's Adam Maeda's first taste of it. It's Nicholas Kuhn's, it's Kasper Schmeichel. They've all not had that experience last season. They came into it this year. I loved Kasper Schmeichel's face at the obviously the lineup, absolutely brilliant. And then he goes on to post a message on his social media on Instagram, basically saying, "I've missed that music for 8 years, but my God, what an atmosphere!" Just a great statement from Celtic in all departments last night. I thought the fans were brilliant. I thought the place was rocking from the very get go. But I kind of feel that there's a few things just falling into place for us at the moment. I think we've all said as fans, yeah, let's not get carried away, but let's dream. Let's have that ambition, and let's have that enjoyment of winning games in the Champions League. I mean, our first victory and our first time we've done that in the Champions League and winning our first game is just an incredible achievement for us. So it's everything's good at the moment for Celtic, James. So it's a good point for us to move on for obviously this season going forward. I think for me, coming in at half time, 1-0, you're still a little bit, we've got a bit of work to do. And as you say,
chances,
yeah, absolutely, they did. And I think you've nailed it. I think the team talk comes right from Brendan Rodgers because the way they came out of the second half, it was just straight back to business. We look at the goal. There's a few me and my friends were saying at half time, Kyogo was letting us down for a few of the first goal scorers. I think some of the boys had him on as any time as well, but some were saying, get him off. But then it just goes into the right place, the right time again, and just shows you what he's worth for Celtic. What did you make of the second goal and the run from Nicholas Kuhn for that one as well?
I think that's what Kuhn's always trying to do. If defenders are tight and blocking inside, then he's going to try and go outside. But he's got the versatility that if he's getting blocked there, he can shepherd inside and get on his left foot and have a shot. He's equally happy with whatever the end of that move is. If he's getting to the byline, he's getting a cross in. If he's getting inside the guy, he's going to get a shot in and see what ricochets off of that, and maybe goals himself. So I think he's got that versatility, and he's just got that positivity. He always wants to come at a defender and drive at him and make him do something. And he went past more than a couple of guys. I thought it was a really clever run from Engels as part of that. There was another guy going to go down and support, and Engels just went, "Oh, I'll just come across you there," and the guy couldn't. So then Kuhn's get just that wee bit more space than he might have had. And he's put in the middle, and why not Martin Kyogo in the middle of the 6-yard box?
Mental.
So suggestions of it was an own goal, and it's not. It's just it's off his Kyogo's thigh, and he's like, "Don't need to kick it. I'll just shepherd that one in," and then bang, you're away 2-0. Got a stat for you, Paddy?
I love a stat, James. Go for it.
How many teams win a game once they go 2 goals up percentage?
I'm going to go in maybe the high 80s, early 90s.
It's 90%. You draw 7.6 and you lose 2.4, which is why bookies sometimes pay out in 2-0. But the difference in that game between 1-0 and 2-0, they were done at 2-0. I know they kept, foraging and probing and stuff like that, but I think, the spirit was just knocked right out in that second one because they were just so up against it, and everything was flowing for us at that point. The second goal was the absolute killer.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I think we then moved pretty quickly to go and try and really just tidy everything up for us and try and add to that. I think we knew if we wanted to, we could have scored more. And we see how quickly we go. I think it's only another 10 minutes before the third goal comes, but it's Kyogo that manages to get a bit of space in the box. For me, you should cut it. I think there's a better option in the middle of the box. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Nicholas Kuhn, but he's went for the shot. That's cannoned up into the air from the rebound from the goalkeeper. And Alistair Johnson's managed to get his toe to it and been caught on the way down. Definite penalty, no questions about it. He's been swiped from behind. And then up steps a Cam, cool, collected arm at Engels to go and continue his goal scoring spree. We better watch. There might be a new Hall of Famer for penalties for Celtic coming up if he keeps going like this.
Hall of Fame.
But no, a really tidy finish from him, and again, just the confidence he'll take from that. You're speaking about the moment, I think, in the 93rd minute where he runs, chases the ball down, it goes out for a throw, but he gets the crowd G'd up a bit as well. He done that a couple of times. I think he was just loving the occasion last night. I think he was in and about everything, and just a real joy to watch, but a real joy to see someone enjoy their football so much as well. So I think he's going to be a huge player for us. I seen this interesting comment from a fan of the show, Gerard Watt. He's asking this question for us just now. So never been so impressed. I better bring it back up again. Never been so impressed with our work off the ball. It'd be interesting to see if we maintain that against Dortmund. I don't see us not doing that. I think that's the game plan. I think that's how we play going into every single game at this group stage. Maybe tweaking a little thing here or there, but that's how we play football. And whether it's domestic or whether it's European, we know we're going to come up against tougher sides in this group. But I think we have to play that way in order to stand a chance and in order to score goals. What's your view on it yourself, James?
Yeah, I think that's a hallmark of both Brendan Rodgers and Ange Postecoglou's teams. In fact, not to get off track, but I think it's why Spurs are really struggling. They're not working hard enough. Ange's teams work hard, Brendan's teams work hard, and it's not to do with the opposition. If anything, when the odds are a bit tougher on you, you work even harder. I thought Mialbi said a strange thing last night post match. He said, last year maybe the work rate wasn't quite there. And I totally disagree with that. I think the work rate was there last year, but the quality wasn't. I think we were still working hard, but now we're working hard and there's quality and there's strength and depth and there's real improvement in this team. And that's what's making the difference. So, yeah, I don't see that being any different on Sunday against Falkirk. I don't see it being any different against Dortmund. It's just the way Rodgers' teams play. And it seems to be the way this team likes to play. Guys who've been there since Sanger before, come along since. They enjoy that hard working, everyone working for each other. Love the skill of the guy, but you can just see why Haksabanovic, it was never going to happen for him. Because he wasn't interested in that side of the game. He wanted to be doing all the kind of fun stuff and lollipop step overs and keep you uppies. That's all nice, but it's no use to us if you're not going to work hard. Anyone who gets into this team, be it first 11 coming off the bench, you're going to have to be a hard worker.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think I agree with your point in terms of last season. I don't think that the work rate wasn't there. I think a lot of them actually just realised this is such a step up. This is a different level entirely. Now, what we have seen is the fact that we've been able to keep guys like Kyogo, guys like Rio Hatate, Maeda. They've all now had this experience of the Champions League in their third season of it. And I think that's where there's going to be a lot of learning from, to be honest. I think that's going to be a huge help for us going forward. So it's exciting to see. And I think obviously getting a result like that last night really sets us up, for a go at it, really. I think Dortmund, we know how big a task it's going to be. We're playing in their home. It's going to be, a cauldron of noise there as well, as much as what we do at Celtic Park. But this is what you want to do. This is where you want to be. You want to be playing at this highest level. And as I say, I think they were taking so much confidence from last night that they'll be up for it. They'll be hoping to see what they can go and do, even go and get a draw over there. But I just think this manager, I don't think he plays for draws, James. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when we go over to Germany. Moving on to the next goal then. So obviously, we've been carving again so many chances for the second part of the second half, and one man that deserved a goal was, for me, Daizen Maeda. Again, he was just absolutely everywhere. Their whole right hand side were 2-2.
Are we going to talk about losing a goal?
No. Well, sorry, we better come on to it. No, it's a poor goal to lose. I think Greg Taylor will hold his hands up there for that one. But what a finish. I think the guy's a centre half.
Yes and no. I mean, it's a good strike anyway, right? But it is deflected. You do need to take that. I think Schmeichel's got it covered without the deflection. So I think for a centre half to hit an outside the left boot strike, heading for the top corner, irrespective if the goalie gets or not, that's impressive. I'm not taking that away for the boy, but it's a goal because of the deflection. So there's a bit of that. And like you said, it's very self-inflicted. They were sloppy all over there, and that'll be covered in detail today. I'm torn with Taylor because I thought he was excellent going forward last night. I thought he was, great support, particularly to Rio Hatate and Daizen out there and stuff, and overlapping and making a lot of stuff happen in the box.
Yeah.
Taylor, came up as a footballer, as a midfielder, so that it's not alien to him to be in those positions. but I wonder if it's starting to tell that left back just is difficult for him when the levels go up. You know, he can handle it domestically, but when the levels go up, I think he struggles. And I mean that with all the respect to him. If anyone wants to do themselves a favour and watch the end of season show that Celtic put out, Greg Taylor comes out as the guy that everyone wants in their dressing room. Just a great character, great person to be around. Bit money, but you need that in the dressing room too. But I think in terms of talent, I think we do need to see on Sunday what Valley's got. You know, let's see him and against Falkirk. Trusty's probably going to get an outing because Carter Vickers looked like he was carrying a bit of a knock.
Yeah.
So that'll be a bit of change there. But I do worry that the levels keep going up. You know, going away to Dortmund, going away to Atlanta, two really tough games, and the mistakes that Taylor's making at the back, you don't get chances. Then you just get punished straight off. So you can find yourself 1-2 goals down if we don't start to address that. We've signed Bally for a reason, so I'm going to want to see him in on Sunday and see if he's ready for Dortmund away. Big ask, but we need to find out.
And that's the point. I think you make a good point with Greg Taylor, because for me going forward, he has been really, really strong for us this season. And at the tail end of last season, I think he came into his own. And we were crying out for it a little bit. I don't think he had a strong first half of the season for me. But last night, yeah, he's flung a leg at it. It's not his strong side, I get that, but we're going to come up against more and more moments like that against better teams that are going to put us under more pressure like that. And that's where Celtic's quality needs to be at its highest. I go back to some of the games last season with Taylor. I thought he was pretty weak against Atletico Madrid. Again, I know it's Atletico Madrid, but just getting caught out too much when defending. I think going forward, he is strong. I think he does play into the system really well, and he's well aware of where he needs to be when we are breaking. But I'm with you on that. I still think there is just that little bit of frailty there in terms of his defensive duties. But again, I have to say at this point, it is his jersey, and I do think that he's allowed that mistake. I know that sounds a bit cliche, but I think he is allowed to. He's got that in the locker. I think he's allowed to basically make that mistake, and then that might be the moment, right? It's by his jersey until he does the same. But I think I think Greg Taylor's got enough in the bank at the moment that he's not going to get dropped straight away. But I do see us needing to try and bring Baye in eventually. I've been speaking about Trusty, as I said. I've been speaking about him coming in to that left-hand side. It'll be interesting to see what he does on the right-hand side, if he's going to be playing alongside Scales. And then, yeah, again, interesting if CCV is injured. He'll have to fight to get back into the team as well. I know he's a mainstay, but this is what I mean in this competition. It's just absolutely brilliant to have at the moment. It really is. We'll move on to that fourth goal now, mate. So obviously,
negativity.
I know. Get away for that.
That was me. Sorry, that's my fault.
We're on a buoyant mood today. Don't worry about it. I think, we can speak about Daizen Maeda all day. I think I've seen someone in the comments there mention he's undroppable. Completely agree. I think for everything that he does for us, we can take the points where he boots it out of the park when he's trying to cross it. We can take the points where he sometimes runs and forgets to take the ball with him properly. But this Celtic team cannot play without Daizen Maeda in it because of the pressing that he does off the ball. And he deserves his goal. He really deserves his goal. A good ball from Rio Hatate, great fight to get that final pass, and which was a really, really good move from Celtic. Full free-flowing football from us. And a tidy finish from Maeda. He's caught it as the goalkeeper's running out to him. So he's not got enough time to think and try and get down to it. Low and just in beside the goalkeeper's a great finish. What do you make of Daizen Maeda?
He's indescribable as a footballer. You know, he's not like any other footballer I've ever seen or do see. Like, I don't see what the better version of a Daizen Maeda is. He's just unique. You know, because he's small, but he's tough.
Mm-hmm.
He's dynamite. The pace he's got. He scores goals. He sets up goals. He shanks balls into the stand. He makes bad crosses. He never gives defenders a minute's peace. He can take a tackle. He's just a bit of everything, and so just there's some madness and some genius in there. And you've just got to love him. You know, if he, my dad was talking about it the day, and he said, you know, if he could be more composed, and I said, well, it's not really that, because he is composed a lot of the
Yeah.
time. He's not composed all the time or composed consistently. If he was, I don't know where he'd be playing his football, but probably wouldn't be at Parkhead.
Indeed.
You've just got to love him. You know, the BBC again highlighted a couple of times where he was in the kind of 12 yards out from goal after a Celtic attack, and the ball's well up. It's towards the halfway line. And Dyson just gets on his horse and starts chasing that guy. And all of a sudden, he's taken it off him once. A second time, he's put him under enough pressure that Engels is taken off him. And we've got the ball to start attacks on both of those occasions. As a defender, saw somebody talking about their right back has been phenomenal. He was absolutely flat asleep when Dyson got his goal in behind him. If that was the number 20, I don't know if he was falling in there, but number 28, just fast asleep. But that boy's just had a torrid time all night. And he's just thinking, oh, thank goodness I can get a break for that Maeda guy for a minute. Oh, no, wait a minute. And I think the goals, like, great breakup play from McGregor, great pressing, gets it to Kyo, to Hatate, he's got a couple of touches, and then, like you say, a really tough fight to get on the end of the ball, but with control. Gets it to Dyson, who's just ghosted past his man. Keeper's 6'5", by the way.
Yeah.
And he still manages to get in the corner past him. So that is a very composed finish, you know. So he's indescribable. Is the only word.
He does have those moments in his locker. I think back to obviously the goal that Ibrox he scored where he broke through, and just that's a pressure point. And I don't think he's fazed by those moments. I do think it is solely sometimes down to his ability of striking the ball. I don't think it's always crystal clear. I do think if it was, I'm with you. I don't think he's playing with Celtic, but my God, I just want him in that team every week, and I can't wait. I think he was hard done by with sending off last season over in Madrid, and I just can't wait to see him go up against Dortmund in a couple of weeks' time and just see what pressure he puts them under as well. But yeah, an absolute joy to have. Let's go on to this fifth goal. For me, just credit to James Forrest once again. I feel like we're saying this every week at this point. At that level, still producing through balls like that, and just an incredible pass from him. He sees it. He hopes that Adam Maeda's going to make the run. He reads it really well. The weight on the ball is just perfect. And what about the finish from Biggie as well, James?
I just think it's a great connection between those two guys. I don't know how tight they are in training and stuff like that, but they're almost side by side when Forrest picks up the ball. And Ida knows exactly what's going to happen, so he just gets moving, just gets down past the defenders. And the weight of that pass past three defenders, and it's not an easy take for a striker because you're thinking, I'll just put the laces through this and see where we end up. But Ida is that bit of quality, and he just says, I just need to let this hit off me, and it's just going to connect. If I connect right, it's just going to connect. The goalie's thinking it's going to go near post, it's going far, there's enough space. The finish itself, the ball, everything about the move was just phenomenal. But for Ida, I was so delighted that he's off and running, because he was off and running obviously at the weekend and he get chalked off. And I think he's just needed that wee bit of reassurance that he's here permanently now, and let's get back to what we were doing, the tail end of last season. And that's him off and running now. And you saw what it meant to him out in the touchline, the way he celebrated. It was just, you could see a bit of weight coming off him. But that's he's scoring in the Champions League. And the stats were going out last night. He said he's the first Irish player to score in the Champions League since Liam Scales.
Brilliant. I know. Just another thing as well, all 5 different goal scorers last night. It just, speaks volumes about what this. Yeah, it really is. It just speaks volumes of what this team is doing. We have been scoring goals for fun this season, and I think everyone is really just enjoying the product on show, and it's credit to our manager. It really is. I think he's feeling that he's got a team that really has bought into his system now, and yeah, you're seeing the fruits of that labour now. You really are. Brendan Rodgers is clever enough to know this is the beginning of what's going to be a bit of a long journey in this tournament. It's not going to be easy, but I think that's a bit of a statement from Celtic last night. And I think getting those goals, getting the extra 2 goals after we conceded, are super important. First of all, it puts us second in the league. I know there's another round of games this evening, but it's it's exciting for fans. It's good to see us. It's good to see us get that victory. It's good to see us up there at the top end of the table. And now you're thinking to yourself, if it does come down to goal difference, what a good start we've got in that campaign. So it's been a great week. It's been a great couple of months. Being a Celtic supporter at the moment, and just long may that continue. James, I'll come to you for your final thoughts on this one.
Just to what that gives us, like you're saying, it gives us that confidence. You know, I think the group will be honest enough amongst themselves that that's not, you know, it was a test, all right, but it's not going to be the hardest test we get in this tournament. There's going to be a real tough one coming up in 2 weeks. But it means you get into that game with bags of confidence, knowing that, you know, if you work hard and if you keep moving and if you utilise the talent that you've got at your disposal, then, you know, we can really punish teams. And I think that's what we're going to take into the Dortmund game. You know, we know that's going to be a real tough test, but we want to be tested. We want to see guys like Arne Engels and, you know, showing exactly what they can do. So to be tested in the biggest arenas is everything you want, but you're now going into it with a bag full of confidence, and I can't wait.
So what you're trying to tell me is we're going to win it.
That's it.
We're going to win it. Brilliant. Listen, James, thank you so much for tuning in with me today. And big thank you for all viewers and listeners of today's show. I can actually see the Celtic Exchange podcast commenting on YouTube, so I'm assuming that's Tino sitting at the airport. I hope you have a safe flight today, mate. We'll be back this week with the pre-match for the Falkirk game, and we'll also bring you the post-match after that too. But for now, guys, big thank you for listening in, and we'll see you all again soon.